Hello, friend. It is a new year. Happy New Year to you. Look, we are the kind of show that gets excited about the TV shows and movies that are up ahead. It's kind of become a tradition for us on the show that we kick off the year by talking about the TV shows and the movies that we just cannot wait to watch.
I'm back, baby!
Do you know who those people are?
No.
Yeah, maybe try a different approach.
I'm Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion. Kathryn VanArendonk is a critic at Vulture, and Saloni Gajjar is a TV critic at the AV Club. Happy New Year to both of you. So happy to have you on the show.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ugh, it's my delight to start a new year like this. This is delightful. Okay, well, let's get into it. We're starting with HBO's The Pitt because that was one of the biggest hits of last year, of 2025. Then the second season drops next week on Crave and HBO on January 8th, which makes me go, what? Here's just a little bit from the very dramatic trailer.
Is this your last shift?
For a while, yeah.
Maybe he's trying to outrun some old ghosts.
It's gonna be a lot of time to self-reflect. Sure you can handle that?
Is this a drill?
Westbridge Hospital has shut down all the computer systems.
Are we next?
We're about to go analog.
We're about to go analog. Kathryn, listen, I am, first of all, stressed out that The Pitt is back, but also, how is it possible that The Pitt is back so quickly? Why? Why is The Pitt back so quickly?
This is the result of a very deliberate strategic choice that HBO and its programming head Casey Bloys made when they were developing this show, which was that they were identifying what they felt like was a real need among TV viewers that was not getting met, which was to have really excellent programming with characters that people loved that they could see more than once every 3 years. It felt like that was something, it's ground that like Netflix and Apple have been seeding. And I think they were very wisely able to see the huge demand for something like that. And so as they were developing this show, that was expressly the mission. It would be, we're going to have a long season. It was 15 episodes in that first season. It's going to come out weekly rather than a binge. And we want this to be a show that comes back within the next calendar year. Like, you should know it's winter. It's time for a new season of The Pitt. This is an ancient knowledge that used to be passed down from our ancestors, that at certain times of the year, TV would happen. And we have lost the old ways. And
we were losing recipes, but they're being revived, is what you're saying.
That's right. Linguists are out there studying words like sweeps weeks and trying to like figure out what they mean again. And I just think that having this, I'm so hopeful that this is something that really catches on.
I would very much welcome this because every time that I turn on Apple TV Plus, there's like a new season of Slow Horses. They're like, we just made that yesterday. It's quite bananas how there's another one of these. And then I look at HBO and I say, and why is it taking 45 years for me to get another Gilded Age season? Can we just get that going real quick? Look, The Pitt was incredibly popular with audiences. It also won really big at the Emmys, including winning Best Drama. But despite the show's success, you don't see other networks or streamers doing this quite the same way that HBO is. Why do you think that is, Kathryn?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, everyone was a little bit like, wait, what? People want what? They want what kind of television? And so it takes time to create and develop new shows. Netflix has tried to do procedurals before, but never long seasons, never weekly releases. That's antithetical to their entire thing. And I think the other thing is that there's actually very few writers who still know how to do this kind of long season. I mean, this is, again, an ancient knowledge that that even the writers themselves are accustomed to streaming lengths like seasons, right? And so it will take time if this really becomes something people want. It will take time, I think, for the other platforms to figure that out.
I should note that, like, I'm sitting here, like a chump being like, there's a new season of The Pitt coming. Both of you have seen episodes. You've seen some of the new season, and without spoilers and without making me feel too sad for missing out on the second season of The Pitt too much. Saloni, let me ask you, what do you think? What do you make so far of what you've seen of the second season?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, can't say much about season 2 just yet. There's a few days left to go. But much like I was in season 1, I will say I remain impressed by how the writers really devote and spread time to give this entire sprawling cast a lot of great material and like character moments to play with. I feel like it's impressive that no one in this ensemble is wasted. And once again, the show like incorporates some very wise social commentary, which is also, being a medical drama, they're inherently able to do that. And again, they don't waste that opportunity, which I respect. What I also find very fascinating is that The Pit, which is a very classic medical drama, and not like, a soapy Grey's Anatomy in season 22, it has attracted a pretty vocal and rabid fan base. They're out there making fanfics and shipping characters who may have had maybe 3 lines together in season 1. So I'm curious, and I'm hoping that they take the show for what it is in season 2 and not what they want it to be, and engage with the new characters who I thought have been incorporated pretty seamlessly, but can't say much more than that.
Sorry, Saloni. I only watch TV shows to make them what I want them to be, but I appreciate how you're watching television shows. Kathryn, based on what you've seen so far of The Pit, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that I think one of the real marvels of this show is how it is able to balance ensemble cast. I also think they are very, very smart about the mission, which is to be familiar, to be exactly the show that we want. We want Robbie. You got Robbie. We want, Nurse Dana. She's going to be sassy. Like, yes, we got her. We want there to be tense medical dramas, and they need to fulfill all that familiarity, but they cannot repeat exactly what the formulas have been from the past.
Yeah.
And so I think they are being very smart about how to give you that same feeling, but in a different way.
Okay, another returning show that people are really excited about. When I say people, I mean this guy, because I've watched the entirety of the show last year. And so we've got a brand new season of Bridgerton returning back for season 4. He's just a quick clip from the teaser.
With each passing season, one is known to experience plenty of ups and downs. So then we must ask ourselves, do we rise to the occasion? As always, time and this author will tell.
The people want Lady Whistledown. The people want Benedict. The people want this man to settle down finally. Okay, Saloni, every season of Bridgerton focuses on somebody different. Who is it this time around? Lay the ground for us.
Yeah, like you said, this season is focused on the second son, Benedict Bridgerton, the sort of bohemian playboy. And I think
that's
Luke
one word
Thompson
for
plays
him.
him really well. That is one word for him.
Yeah.
And so this season is based on the book An Offer from a Gentleman, but obviously there's a few changes. He romances this housemate, Sophie Beck, played by Viren Ha. Again, much like The Pit, can't say much, but what I will say is that I remain intrigued by how the show kind of casts its female leads, because I loved the actress who plays Kate in season 2. I like that they cast these Asian female leads, and it brings a cultural context to the show that obviously the book didn't have. And again, I mean, this is a romance. Chemistry is the most vital aspect. I will say, I think it starts off strong in season 4, but it is to be determined how that evolves as the story evolves, especially because season 4 is also being split in half, which I don't know if that's ever the right move. But especially for a show like Bridgerton, it seems questionable. But who am I to question what Netflix does?
Well, I gotta say, like, the thing with Bridgerton is that, like, you really gotta get invested in the sibling who's sort of going through it, shall we say? And that's really sort of like the way into this. But the idea that, like, you get, okay, the first part of Bridgerton season 4 comes out January 29th, and then you get another 4 episodes dropping later in February. I think it can be hard for a show like Bridgerton to sort of keep things fresh continuously, and it's kind of like keep people's attention. Saloni, did it keep your attention?
I will say it did, but much like you, I'm very much into the show, and I like getting lost in that sort of dreamy worlds that they have. I'm a Shonda Rhimes supporter through and through. But yeah, I think that it does keep me captured, because there's other characters, also the other family members that I'm like rooting for, like Francesca and stuff. So I like seeing what their romance also is like. Again, I just feel like splitting up a season, just do it weekly at that point. Why not? That just, that is my like TV pet peeve.
That's where Kathryn's like, yes, we used to have a recipe for this also. It used to be. Go ahead, Kathryn. What is that reaction? You're like, yes, give us more of this.
I just need to say, first of all, that I am extremely on board with this season of Bridgerton. I am flying flags above my home. People are asking questions. It's become a problem in my personal lives. I'm very, very happy with what I have seen. I agree that it should just be weekly. I mean, I cannot imagine the way people would be burning bonfires on their front yards if this thing was a weekly show.
That's what you want. You want that feeling.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind the two-part split as much as you do, but I do think it's going to be a painful month.
I cannot wait. Cannot wait to go through even that set of emotions. Okay, let's keep things going. Another big show that's on offer in 2026, and that is Game of Thrones.
They charged me to be a good knight, to defend the weak and the innocent, and I swore that I would.
Are you Baelor Targaryen?
No.
Then would you move the fuck out of the way?
Sorry.
Okay, I said Game of Thrones, and then people might have leapt at their radios, being like, what's happening? What is going on here? What I really meant is a new Game of Thrones spinoff. So this is a show called A Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's premiere on Crave and HBO January 18th. Kathryn, what is going on here? Because it does not sound like the grim, very dark, broody Game of Thrones that I'm usually supposed to hear.
It is not. It is not that. And you should be thankful.
Thank
You
God.
should be glad. You should be so relieved that they have figured out how to take this world that you love and be like, what if we were not about like sexual violence in every single moment of this show? What if people had jokes sometimes?
Wow.
I mean, it's
Jokes?
wild.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Levity
be like,
in a Game of Thrones
what?
universe? It's possible? Yes.
What if every episode was not 77 minutes long? Is another possibility.
Yeah.
And I just think this is not Andor. You should not go into this show being like, this is the Andor for the Game of Thrones universe. But there is a comparison, which is like, what if we took this universe that people love and we were like, what if people were humans inside it and they made sort of normal-ish human reactions?
That's
to
what
things.
Andor does for the Star Wars universe. I go like, oh, I can understand these dynamics. You're telling me this is what this does for Game of Thrones.
In a very different way,
Yeah.
no one will be marching in the streets with Night of the Seven Kingdoms protest banners, but
Yes.
but yeah, there is a shared language there.
Okay, Saloni, also you should say that you wanted to talk about this new Tina Fey show. So Tina Fey's coming back to network television, a new comedy. We got Tracy Morgan back, but also Daniel Radcliffe. What is this show? What's happening?
Yeah, it's called The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins. It
Great name.
airs on NBC in February. And I think I'm interested in it because it reunites the 30 Rock team that you said, like Tina Fey, Robert Carlock, co-creator Sam Means, Tracy Morgan. I loved 30 Rock. And obviously Tina Fey has been doing TV, since that show ended. She had this like underrated comedy, Great News. She's been doing a bunch of stuff on streaming. She had 4 seasons last year. That was lovely, but it was not like a comedy. And decidedly not a network comedy. So I'm excited for her to tap back into that world. And Tracy Morgan, obviously very funny. So I'm excited to see what he brings to this. He plays this disgraced like NFL superstar who, kind of reveals some betting schemes, but then he hires a filmmaker played by Daniel Radcliffe to make a documentary about his life with the intention of kind of like regaining that respect and love that he lost from his fans. And obviously shenanigans ensue. And Bobby Moynihan is in the cast, or Erica Alexander's in the cast. So I guess I'm just curious to see, if Tina Fey has that network juice. I think she does. I'm a fan, but we'll see.
The idea of Tina Fey returning to this landscape is very exciting to me. This is sort of like Tina Fey's superpower, so I'm very, very excited about this. Before I let you guys go, I just want to give you a chance to sort of like, I honestly could just do this all day, go like, what else is coming? What else is coming? What else is coming? But I just want to give you a quick chance, each of you, maybe like a minute or so, to just to talk about other things that are on your radar that are happening in 2026. Kathryn, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, season 2 of Paradise is coming back. That's going to be pretty exciting.
Sterling K. Brown. Yep.
There is going to be check your watch. What year is it? There is going to be a Scrubs revival. A Scrubs revival.
Wow.
With the original cast.
None of those words are in the prophecy, but go on.
None, not nary a one. But I am really curious. I mean, it is Bill Lawrence is involved, and if there's anything the last decade of Bill Lawrence's career has shown, it is that he has a lot to say about what it is like to be in the middle of your life and being like, what's happened to me? How did I get here? So I do think there is room for this to be great. I am hopeful.
Bill Lawrence, you're referencing Ted Lasso there. That's the thing that you're talking about. Like,
and Shrinking,
of
and
course.
he has a new HBO show called Rooster, starring Steve Carell. Steve Carell, famously also a guy who loves to be like, I have a beard and I'm gray now. Like, what's
Who
going
am
on?
I now? I've changed. Okay, Saloni, you got a minute left here. What about you? What's on your radar?
I am very excited for everyone to see the next season of Industry, which comes out this month too. Season 3, I think, really blew up for that show.
Yes.
And so I think they set a new peak. And I do think season 4 kind of matches that, which is thank God. But I'm also, speaking of like romance on Bridgerton, the alternate to that is a very, very toxic romance on Hulu's Tell Me Lies, which comes back as well this month. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but if you really want to get angry at your screen, Tell Me Lies is the way to go.
I like
sell.
Yeah, what a sell. Like, hey, if you want to watch a toxic romance, if you want to feel bad about love, here's a show. And you know what? I'm sold. That actually did it enough for me that I'm like, I want to know the feeling that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I got to say thank you to both of you. This has been wonderful. Happy New Year to both of you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, y'all. Really appreciate it. Kathryn VanArendonk is a critic at Vulture, and Saloni Gajjar is a TV critic at the AV Club. Happy New Year to both of you. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud, and this is Commotion, and it is time to talk about some movies to look forward to at the beginning of this year. And we're going to do an all-Canadian look ahead. My pal Jackson Weaver's here. Jackson Weaver, hello, friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
It's nice to have you here. How was your New Year's, dude?
My eyes are fighting to stay open, let's say.
Great. And that's how I want to start my new year as well. Thanks for being here, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Look, we're going to start with a movie that was one of your favorites last year, but it had not gotten the wide release yet. It's called Montreal, My Beautiful, starring the legendary actor Joan Chen. What did you love about this movie?
I mean, this has already won Best Canadian Film at the Windsor International Film Festival. Joan Chen won Best Actor in Lead Actor in a Canadian Film from the Toronto Film Critics Association, of which I'm a member, and in which I championed very hard for her win. Now, it follows Joan Chen. She plays a Chinese immigrant who has been in the city that she lives in at the beginning of the movie, Montreal, for years and years, but she still hasn't really learned French yet. And she decides, kind of spur of the moment, you know what, I am a lesbian. I love women. I'm going to go on a dating site and find a woman to date. Only problem is that she is married and has young kids, and that's not necessarily really in line with what her husband wants and also what her background says is okay. And
Those are some obstacles, I think.
A few obstacles in terms of changing your life radically at the drop of a hat. And it's kind of very subtle. She meets a woman played by Charlotte Aubin, and they hit it off. They, start seeing each other. And then I think, as you can guess, things don't go 100% smoothly, either from what her husband, again, wants her to do, what she thinks is okay in her own life, and also, her ability to find a home in the city that she hasn't really put firm roots down in yet.
Yeah.
But all outside of that, it's just so well acted. It's by Canadian director Zhao Denhui, and she's also, a Chinese immigrant, and she came in 2002, I believe, and it's similar kind of long history in the country as her character. So there's a lot of parallels between her own life, and it's so well written, so well acted, so sad, happy at times, and it's just very affecting. Comes out February 13th.
Ooh, a Valentine's Day movie.
So you can
to
feel a little
wreck
bit.
your heart. Beautiful.
Cry a little bit and also feel a little bit warm.
I should also say Montreal is the setting for your next recommendation.
Oh, yes.
This one's a rom-com. Chandler Levack's movie, Mile and Kicks. What is going on in Montreal that is just a setting for all these big transformation movies? But also, maybe let's talk about Mile and Kicks. What can people expect from that movie?
I mean, so this is from Chandler Levack, who was at one time a film critic like myself, an entertainment journalist, and it's
the dream, by the way, the pipeline to go from critiquing movies to being like, I'm going to make them. Her first movie, I love movies.
I like movies.
like
Fantastic movie. I mean,
Incredible.
I love it. It's also, obviously, as you can maybe guess, about, the
About liking
entertainment
movies.
industry.
Yeah.
That one's about this guy played by Isaiah Lentinen who likes movies, is in high school, wants to be this famous filmmaker, but his own almost borderline sociopathy undercuts him. He's terrible to all the people around him. He's a narcissist, and nothing really goes right because of his horrible life choices. Similar things here in this new movie.
Mile and Kicks? Okay.
It's based in 2011, around the same time that Chandler herself also moved to Montreal, as her main character does in this movie, played by Barbie Ferreira.
Yeah.
This main character wants to write a book about Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. The only problem is when she gets there, she is, met by what Chandler has described in interviews as the most interesting time to live in Quebec as a young young person ever because all these bands are there, all this music is there, all this art is being made, but also she falls in love with these two members of this indie band, and then she makes a bunch of terrible life choices. Who among us has not fallen in love with the lead singer of an indie band? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But all these life choices she makes undercuts her ability to be successful. She doesn't write her book. She doesn't pay her rent. She's just kind of aimless in this very interesting way. And I think this movie is going to be very divisive because it's almost intentionally underplaying itself. It's kind of slow. Plotting is not the right word, but contemplative, let's say, instead. Yeah. And I think it's similar, actually, to a movie that also recently came out, Marty Supreme, about a guy who's just manic and making all these terrible choices. But that one's a lot faster paced. This one's a lot more like you're kind of watching her life kind of slowly crumble around her, and you're seeing how you can kind of be your own worst enemy. You also get Devin Bostick as one of the love interests there. For fans of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that is your Roderick. So for all those reasons, I really liked it. I do think it's going to be divisive, and I want to see what people think about it because of that.
I will say Marty Supreme, which of course opened on Christmas Day, Timothée Chalamet will be in contention for Best Actor.
100%.
It's the kind of movie where you watch it and go like, good Lord, I just wish one nice thing would happen to this man so that his life would stop unraveling.
Yes.
And I feel like if you're telling me that Mile and Cakes is the same kind of vibe but slower, I'm going to have a good time, but also a bad time.
Yeah.
You wanted to bring another movie. We wanted to bring up another movie which has also got a lot of buzz at TIFF, which is Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie. Because there was Nirvana the Band, the show, which was a sort of an internet short that used to exist, and now they made it into a movie. It won the Midnight Madness People's Choice Award. What is this movie? Just real quick, because it can get a little crazy to explain
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you a few things. I'll tell you that it's made by Matthew Johnson. You might know him from the Blackberry movie. Yeah. He also made the series.
Or from being a general rascal. But yeah.
Being a general rascal, misfit, all those great terms. He himself has said, I don't explain to people what this is about because it's too weird. Giving you a little bit of a backstory. It's based on this internet series in which he plays a member of a band called Nirvana, and their whole thing is they want to play a set at the Rivoli in Toronto, and he comes up with all these terrible ideas, and his bandmate, played by Matt Grayson, is kind of the talented one, but just never willing to oppose what Matt Johnson's character wants them to do. So they come up with terrible ideas, never get to play at the Rivoli, everything goes wrong. It's kind of a mockumentary. Yeah. This one is now picking up after the heyday of the show, which was set in 2008. They're still trying to get to play at the Rivoli. They're still failing. And I don't want to say too much, but it's made kind of like if you've seen Jackass's Bad Grandpa or Borat, where it's like real people are around them as they're acting out ridiculous, conscripted into insane things that happen that I don't want to tell you what happens, but they're crazy. Yeah. And then also there's a time traveling element in it. And I don't want to say anything else because that's all you need to know about how crazy off the rails this movie is.
I love listen, I've met Matt Johnson a few times, and he immediately sort of strikes me as the kind of guy who would go, let's put a little time travel in there. Who's going to complain about a little time travel in the show? Okay, we got a couple minutes left here, but we talked a bunch about a bunch of feature films, but also there's a new NFB documentary that's on your radar. What's that about?
I saw this at Hot Docs. It's a documentary by Trevor Soloway. It's called Siksikakoan, the Blackfoot Man. It's set in the Siksika Nation, east of Calgary, and it's really this rumination on masculinity, specifically what it means to be a man as an Indigenous person. Yeah. But also I think there's, corollaries to just masculinity in general, boyhood, growing up, what it really means to be a man.
The light stuff.
The light stuff, the fun stuff. It's just contemplative, and it's so beautifully made. The cinematography is dreamlike and amazing. It was my favorite thing I saw at Hot Docs. And I think that there is such a strong tradition of documentary with Indigenous filmmakers. Yeah. I mean, the term documentary was invented by John Grierson, the head of the NFB, and it was made about kind of a few documentaries. Yeah, it was coined based on a documentary called Moana, which is about Polynesian people, and then the same documentary that made Nanook of the North. Both of them kind of invented things, told fake stories about Indigenous people. And I think in reaction to that, so many Indigenous filmmakers have reclaimed, reappropriated that genre, that medium, and have become some of the best documentarians in the entire world, bar none. Oh, wow. And I think this is an example of that. It's so contemplative, so beautifully beautifully made, so interesting and subtle and detailed, and I love it to death.
Okay, we got literally a minute left, and here's what we're going to do with that minute. You listed out a bunch of great Canadian films that people are sort of look out for. Anything that's not Canadian that's on your radar, run me through it.
Yeah, I would say first Bad Apple, Saoirse Ronan. It's about a teacher who is flailing because of this bad student in her class, and she accidentally kidnaps him, and things all get better. So she needs to decide whether or not she should let him out or not. Crazy comedy. There's Arco, an animated movie executive produced by Natalie Portman about a boy in the far future coming back to the near future. And it's kind of about how he can survive climate crisis. It's very hopeful and beautiful. Finally, The Plague is like kind of if Mean Girls met Lord of the Flies, about a water polo camp in 2003, and it's off-the-wall, horror-adjacent, very crazy, and it has one of the best young actor performances in Kyle Martin, the TikTok drip kid. So if you watch that, it'll blow your mind, and you'll have a good time.
I gotta tell you, first of the year, a little bit too early to hear the words TikTok drip kid.
I'm sorry.
I think that's got to wait till at least the second week of the new year.
That's fair.
So, also, notice, big omission there, no Wuthering Heights mentions. Will I ever forgive
Jacob
you?
Elordi, Wuthering Heights. You should also check that one out,
Yeah.
if you like the classic literature.
Yeah, if you like the classic literature as interpreted by Emerald Fennell.
Yes.
Which, of course, that opens on Valentine's Day, I believe. So another thing to look forward to. Jackson, you're the best, man. This is a wonderful way to start the new year. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. My pleasure. Jackson Weaver is a senior entertainment writer at CBC Entertainment in Toronto. And also, you can find that tomorrow on the show, we're going to have a conversation about all the big albums that are coming out in 2026. You got Robin, you got Charlie XCX, and maybe, if we're really lucky, if we're really, really good, we'll get this new Lana Del Rey record, allegedly. My name is Elamin Abdelmahmoud. It is a brand new year. I hope that you enjoy the first day of the year. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.